distinguished guest, the President of the United States, accompanied by the Vice President of the United States, and Mr. Imhoff. Good evening. Welcome to the White House, and welcome to the Juneteenth Concert. Please welcome to the stage your MC for the evening, comedian Roy Wood Jr.
Yeah. Washington, D.C., how you doing? Make some noise, make some noise, make some noise. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Good evening to everybody. Mr. President, Madam Vice President. Oh, no, sit down. Please have a seat. I was just saying good evening to you. Just good evening. And elected officials and everybody else, give yourselves a round of applause tonight for being out here. You look good. You look good. Elected officials, I see y'all got your lapel pins on, looking officially elected. Got to wear that lapel pin. You look good, everybody. Nice fabric. You brushed your teeth. I was checking them teeth while I was walking around looking. You look good. This is the second year in a row that the White House has held a Juneteenth concert. Yeah. And this is the fourth year in a row that we as an entire country will recognize Juneteenth as a federal holiday. Yeah. Thank you to President Biden for making that a holiday. June 19th is a federal holiday. We get the day off on June 19th. That's right. We get the day off for June 19th. Now, I don't know about some of y'all, but kind of think we need a week off. I'm not here to tell you, and, thank you for what you did. But, a week, I don't know if any of y'all ever been black before, but it has some stressful days. There are days when you are black and you just go, whoo, I need a week. We need a week for Juneteenth, maybe a month. You know what, 2 months. So why don't we just do 2 months for Juneteenth? Just draw up the paperwork for June, July 10th. We'll talk about it later. I'll talk to you about that. Juneteenth, you all, is celebrated each year nationally, and we recognize this holiday with the reverence and respect that it's always rightfully deserved. Long before Juneteenth was a nationwide celebration, Juneteenth was a celebration amongst black people in the liberated South. That's right. Joy, passion, and shouts of freedom emanated from Galveston, Texas. And these shouts for freedom, shout out to Texas, it made its way around the country. We are very, very fortunate, that Juneteenth always also falls during Black Music Month. And this evening, what's going to happen is that we're going to be very lucky. We're going to bear witness to a number of artists that are going to be performing music from numerous genres that are born out of the black experience. We're talking about gospel. We're talking about rhythm and blues. We're talking about soul. We're talking about jazz. We're talking about country. We're talking about all the genres. The artists that are going to be performing tonight continue the tradition that started by enslaved Americans who sought, created, and defined freedom for themselves long before the Emancipation Proclamation did it officially. Tonight, we're going to honor those ancestors through the evolution of melodies. Music has the power to calm your fears, fuel your faith, and give you unlimited perseverance. And before we get into the music tonight, because, you know, we talk a lot about Juneteenth being a federal holiday, but I think we should also acknowledge a lot of the other progress that has happened in the last couple of years under this administration. My uncle is an Army veteran, and my uncle, I'm so thankful that there is now expanded health care with the VA. We have legislation now for cheaper prescription drugs because of this administration. Insulin is down to $35 if you're a senior. And I don't know if anybody here has paid for insulin before, but that is like the bottle service of prescription drugs. So we appreciate that $35 right there. They got an infrastructure law passed, and that was bipartisan. I don't even know. We had a gun safety bill, and it's been decades since we've had a decent one of those. They've invested in black colleges. We're talking about $16 billion. And if you got student loans, 160 billion of those have been wiped off the computer for you. I know we're here for Juneteenth, but it's just important to talk about some of these other things real quick. We're going to get to the music. 15 million new jobs under this administration. 2.8 million of those jobs black people hold. And I don't know how many of y'all know this, but right now, we're in the middle of the fastest growth in black business ownership that we have ever seen in the history of this, in decades. But of course, black businesses are going to grow when you have an administration that's giving capital to help people start black businesses. You're going to see more growth. If you are a black business owner or you aspire to be a black business owner, trust me, tonight is the night to ask him for the capital. He is right here. They talking about all the capital. That's the Treasury building right there. That's literally where they print the money. I don't know if y'all know that. That is the money printing building. Run by the ATM real quick and get the capital. If you can, Mr. President. We'll still be here, but we'll talk about it later. Finally tonight, we're going to be reminded that both the history of Juneteenth and the genre of black music prove that there is nothing our people cannot do. Enjoy the show.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Vice President of the United States.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Please have a seat. Good evening. What a joy it is to be with everyone tonight. And oh, what my eyes behold. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Juneteenth. So we are here to celebrate America's newest national holiday. And it is wonderful to be with so many extraordinary leaders, starting with our incredible President, Joe Biden, the first ever second gentleman of the United States, my husband, Doug Emhoff, members of the United States Congress, and of course the leaders and the members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and everyone else who is here tonight. So, as a United States Senator, I was proud to co-sponsor a bill to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. And as Vice President, it was my honor to stand beside our President, Joe Biden, when he signed the legislation that made that dream a reality. Next Wednesday, across our nation, Americans will come together with generations of loved ones to celebrate Juneteenth, to celebrate Black excellence and leadership, culture and community, resilience and resistance, and to remember our nation's history in full. For more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, as we all know, 2 years after, hundreds of thousands of Americans in Texas were still enslaved. Then Union troops arrived in Galveston, and on June 19, 1865, the enslaved people of Texas learned they were free. On that day, they claimed their freedom, and today, as we celebrate Juneteenth, together we are reminded of the promise of America, a promise of freedom, liberty, and opportunity, not for some, but for all. In many ways, the story of Juneteenth and of our nation is a story of our ongoing fight to realize that promise, our ongoing fight to build a nation that is more equal, more fair, and more free. A nation where every person has the opportunity not to just get by, but get ahead. Since taking office with the support of so many of the leaders here today, President Biden and I have continued that fight. As Roy said, we forgave student loan debt for nearly 5 million Americans. We capped the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month, and we are now making it so medical debt can no longer be included on your credit score. As Roy mentioned, we also passed the first major gun safety law in nearly 30 years. We appointed the first Black woman to sit on the highest court in our land. Her name is Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And all this is to say, with the support of the leaders here and so many, we have made real progress, and we are clear-eyed. As we move our nation forward, there are those who are trying to take us backward. Across our nation, we witness a full-on attack on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights, including the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body, the freedom to be who you are and love who you love openly and with pride, the freedom from fear of bigotry and hate, the freedom to learn and acknowledge our nation's true and full history, and the freedom that unlocks all others, the freedom to vote. This Juneteenth, we will hold a National Day of Action on Voting. And I call on all the leaders here to please join us in helping more Americans register to vote. Because while Juneteenth is a day for celebration, it is also a day for dedication, a day to rededicate ourselves to the ongoing and unfinished work of our American experiment, a day to renew our commitment to defend our freedoms, to honor our history, and to continue to fight for the promise of America. Tonight, then, to inspire us in that work, we are joined by a group of truly incredible artists. Through the struggles and successes of our history, Black artists like these have put song to our nation's fight for freedom. Through spirituals, blues, and gospel, through jazz, soul, and hip-hop, artists give voice to the joy and hope, ambition and aspiration, courage and conviction of the people of our nation. And now to introduce our first performer, I welcome back to the stage my friend Roy Wood Jr. Thank you all.
The President of the United States.
White House lawn's never seen. Please have a seat. You have one. White House lawn's never seen anything like this before. That was outstanding. Thanks to all the performers here tonight and to help us feel the power of black culture that is American culture. With a fitting tribute to Juneteenth. I was proud to have made Juneteenth a federal holiday. And I'm grateful to the members of Congress who are here today who helped make it possible. I'm not going to start to name them because I'll miss somebody. But it wasn't just a symbolic gesture. It was a statement of fact. It was about a statement of faith. It was testimony of a testament to the resilience of generations of black Americans who kept their eyes set on the nation's North Star. That North Star was the idea that we're all created equal in the image of God and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. While we've never lived up to it, we've never fully walked away from it either. That's because of you and generations before you who led the march from slavery to freedom toward more than a perfect union. But let's be clear, they're old ghosts in new garments trying to take us back. Well, there are. Taking away your freedoms, making it harder for black people to vote or have your vote counted. Closing doors of opportunity. Attacking the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you can believe it, banning books about black experiences. Trying to erase and rewrite history. Our history is not just about the past. It's about our present and our future. It's whether that future is the future for all of us, not just for some of us. Folks, black history is American history. That's why Kamala and I and our administration will always uplift it and protect it. Let me close with this. I just returned from France, where I visited the beaches of Normandy to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day, which was the first step in liberating all of Europe and changing civilization. On that hallowed ground, I spoke about a brave American soldier who fought tyranny for the hope, freedom, of democracy. That includes the Red Ball Express, a convoy of mostly black soldiers who landed in Normandy in wake of the D-Day to rush supplies to the frontiers and the front lines. These black soldiers were a link in a distinguished line of patriots, enslaved and free, who risked their lives in every war since the founding of our ideals, and we don't know fully what American soil is. Equality and freedom. One of those soldiers of the Red Ball Express who fought for freedom on distant shores was a civil rights lawyer who fought for freedom here at home. 61 years ago this week, he was gunned down at home in Mississippi in the poison of white supremacy. But all these years later, his spirit endures. You all know his name. It was Medgar Evers. Last month, I awarded Medgar Evers the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our nation's highest civilian honor, posthumously. Because life reminds us of our change that we have to keep in redeeming the soul of America. Folks, that's what Juneteenth is all about. This is why I awarded the Medal of Freedom to Miss Oprah Lee as well, the grandmother of Juneteenth. She knew so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. Her decades-long march brought her here to the White House when she stood by my side as I signed the Juneteenth federal holiday and handed her the signing pen for helping make Juneteenth possible. A day of profound weight and power, a day to remember the original sin of slavery and the extraordinary capacity to emerge from those powerful moments and painful moments with a better vision for ourselves. A day that reminds us we have a hell of a lot more work to do. So let's keep marching. Let's keep the faith. And let us remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you for tonight.